Thank you for tuning in to NSUSpartans.com, as today we bring you a mid-season report for the 2011 Norfolk State baseball team, and we're joined by head coach Claudell Clark. And Coach, we turn the calendar over into April now. The team has an 8-16 overall record, 1-1 in the MEAC. I'm sure not quite the overall record you'd want to have at this point, but nonetheless, maybe a little bit deceiving in that you've had a number of close games that you've dropped, played a number of good teams, and beaten some of them, including a couple teams from the Big East and the Big Ten.
We always want to have a winning record, 500 or better, but I really think that the experience of playing the big-time teams that we played from some better conferences has really helped our guys to be ready for conference play.
And so far, you've had 5 games that you've ended up losing by 1 run. Easily could have gone the other way. Could really put a completely different outlook on things right now. What's going to kind of be your message to the team as far as learning from those games and in the next few weeks ending up on the correct side of some of those scores?
That's a good point. In our practices, we've tried to shore up things such as base running, worked hard on our defense, offensive situations. Nothing that we're doing so wrong, but it's helped us to realize we needed to work harder on different things. So sometimes you don't want to lose games, but sometimes coming up short in a certain instance can get you ready for later on in the season. So it certainly helped us to shape our practices and get more out of our preparation for games. And I think those 1-run losses hopefully will become 1-run wins when that time comes.
Now we're about at the midway point of the season, of the regular season, but just started MEAC play last weekend. You split a doubleheader with North Carolina A&T, a team that gave you some problems last year, but the Spartans came out and won the first one in the last at bottom of the 9th inning. I'd imagine that would have to give the team a little bit of confidence, knowing that, hey, we've played one of the better teams in the conference, we're right there with them, and give you some confidence going into the meat of your conference schedule.
Well, like you said, splitting the doubleheader, that was even just getting the win for the team, that was great, but also to beat Paulino, which was their number 1 pitcher and one of the better pitchers predicted for the conference this year. That was an emotional boost for our guys to let them know that they can be one of the better pitchers in the conference, and also let them know the team that, like I say, kind of swept us last year, even though we felt we were better, they certainly got it done. To come out and beat them the first game, that was huge going forward. You can't sleep on any of the other teams, but they were one of the better, if not the best. And we got a chance to beat them that first game, and that really, or hopefully that will foretell what's to come in conference play.
Now looking at some of your players and how they're faring so far this year, certainly one name you have to bring up is senior outfielder John Raspberry. He's gotten off to a terrific start, leads the MEAC right now with a .412 batting average. What do you think has been the key for John getting off to such a great start this season?
Well, anytime, at least in our case, anytime we've gotten junior college players, it's taken them about a year to get used to the pitching and the daily grind and what it is that we do. So last year he did have a good year, but this year I think he's really comfortable in what we're asking, really comfortable with what he's going to see on the mound, and he's turned into the ball player that we always knew he could be. Obviously anything over 400 is somewhat of a bonus, but again, he's seeing good pitches. He has protection around him. He works hard in practice. Those results are showing what he's capable of.
Now, speaking of guys who maybe took a little while to start getting acclimated to this level, James Taylor played a big role for you last year, split time at center field, but he's really come into his own now as a sophomore, kind of solidified that leadoff spot for you, hitting over .330. Is that just sort of the typical progression you expect to see from a talented freshman going to his sophomore season?
Well, that's definitely what we'd like to see. We want a guy to get better each year. And with James, it's a matter of consistency. We know he can hit every pitcher he faces. We know he can draw walks and has one of the best eyes on the team in terms of looking over pitches. But it looks as if he can carry that from game to game. And that's what we've been stressing to him, preparing for your bats, preparing for every game, preparing for every situation. And he's certainly doing that more. And that's allowed him to string together some games of good hitting and even get us some key hits instead of going games in between without really showing up or having a good approach.
Right. Now, offensively, your team's it's kind of been odd in that you've had some guys who have gone through really hot stretches and then maybe cooled off a little bit, and then someone else comes to the fore. What as a coach do you kind of stress to them as far as maybe getting that consistency to where we'll see several guys on a roll all at once?
You just keep rolling with your guys. We have a lot of faith in our players. We have a lot of faith in the way they've been taught, what we do in terms of a practice setting, and not to discount their talent or the people that we faced, but we faced some very tough pitching to get us to this point, and to have the wins and to have the progress that we've had, I still think we're in the right direction, and I think that we'll see plenty more pitches this year, or as the year finishes, that we would definitely be able to work with to get that average back up to where people think we should be. But we still have faith in our guys, still have faith in their approaches. The swings look solid, the practices look solid, and I really do think as the season wears on and they continue to run into conference pitching and the pitching that we have left, I think that we'll have the end result that we want.
Now, looking at your pitching staff now, I know that was one of the uncertainties coming into the season, and that you need to be relying on a couple of freshmen as well as some younger guys from last season who maybe were taking on larger roles this year. I imagine you have to be pretty pleased with their progress to this point.
Again, we're thinking we're going to play a little bit better defense, even though that's coming around. Thinking we're going to hit a little bit better, even though we had some tough opponents. But the pitching has been our biggest surprise. Knowing that you have the arms, knowing that you have the ability. Sometimes on the college level, the hitters may be so great, the pace of play may be so great that younger arms take a little bit longer to develop. It's been awful cold, and we played a lot of games in a short amount of time, so we've been able to avoid injury. But the guys have really lived up to their potential. We've had some guys with some velocity, we had some guys with some craftiness and location talents. They certainly have shown those on the mound, and that's helped us to stay in a lot of games. And even times we weren't hitting and may not even have been deserving to be as close in the game, those guys held the other team so tight, you turned into a 5-6 game or a 7-5 game or an 8-7 game. So they really have kept us right here and have continued. It wasn't a fluke. And now the hitters are starting to heat up. I really think that we're going to start to see the total result with hitting and pitching to give us what we want.
Now, just to single out a couple guys, obviously you knew Ryan Shook. We knew what kind of talent he had as a closer last year, so not that surprising to see him really growing into that role as a weekend starter. But you have Jordan Egan, who's a sophomore this year, who's really stepped up into a solid weekend starter for you, as well as true freshman Ryan Van Ash is second right now in the conference in ERA. Talk a little bit about those two guys, Jordan and Ryan, and really what they've brought to the team so far this season.
Well, when you come to you come on a Saturday, you come on a Friday, whenever we start playing, you have a calm in the dugout, a calm amongst the coaching staff, because you're going to get off to a good start. Game 1 and Game 2. We went into having Ryan Van Ash as a freshman and as a reliever. You have good relief. And the other players that we mentioned in our bullpen, as a position player, you're going out every inning, every game, knowing that you have a chance to win. And if we can just get those guys back in the dugout, speaking about our position players, without too much damage, too many walks, too many runs, those guys have been starting to come through. People have been noticing our last couple of games.
All right, Coach. Well, we certainly wish you good luck here over the second half of the season, and just want to remind Spartan fans out there that you can catch live video streaming for every NSU home baseball game at NSUSpartans.com, and we will be offering 7 games with a full webcast, including audio play-by-play, starting with the Norfolk Tides game on April the 5th, as well as MEAC series with Bethune-Cookman and Delaware State. Once again, that's NSUSpartans.com for all your information on Norfolk State baseball.